We are going to start this big flower. This was the bit I loved doing the most. So I've got some of this beautiful pink on my needle, 3 strands, and we're going to start on this bit here. I cannot tell you how difficult it is to embroider with a big phone in front of you, meaning I can't really see my hands. It's difficult, so if I look awkward, please forgive me. So this is satin stitch, and I'm just going to do, like we've been doing, my first stitches that I will then come back and fill in. So I've gone there and back a couple of times, but I still think there's loads of work to do on this one. So just keep adding stitches, and then we'll put some cream in, and I'll show you how I put the cream in. So I'm happy I've got a nice smooth section of pink there, although I probably could have kept going. And now I'm going to start on the cream, and I've got 3 strands on my needle, and this is just exactly the same, except with the cream I have tended to do some longer stitches that bleed into the pink. I'll show you on the one that I've done. I've kind of come over a little bit, and it's totally up to you. You could just keep the lines very distinct from each other, but I've kind of bled over into the pink, and so it's kind of a little bit like that thread painting thing again, but just gives the flower a bit more interest and detail, I think. So that's how I've done it. So that is just done by bringing some of my stitches, not stopping them all here, but bringing a few that just go in to that pink stitching and kind of blend the 2 areas. Kind of just going from the inside out with your stitch direction, just thinking what a petal would actually look like and what direction those stitches then need to go in. What I particularly like about this flower is where the cream meets the cream. Now I could go back and do so many more stitches on this, and then you would lose that kind of the distinction you've got between each individual stitch. You get much more of a kind of smoother combined area of stitching if you just keep adding stitches. So I've still got work that I can do on this one, but I just love where the cream meets the cream and you get this line, and here as well. I just think that looks really lovely. So I'm going to start now on the next bit of pink that's going to meet the white. So I'm going to try and keep my pink edges quite smooth. You've got quite a wiggly line on some of these petals to go across. But just keep placing your stitches and then going back and filling in the gaps. This flower is my favourite bit of the kit. Just think it's just so bold and looks so luxurious once you've stitched it. So just remember to follow the printed pattern and keep each section distinct if the pattern shows a distinct section, and stitch that all in one go. So I've just done a little bit more pink there, but you can just see how we're going to fill in these shapes. So just keep going with your pink and then your white, and refer to the picture to know which bit's pink and which bit's white, but do loads more stitches than I've done. Just keep going through it. Now I'm going to show you the leaves. So I've got 3 strands of pale yellow, and I'm going to start with the stems of the leaves. And I'm just going to add these in with a back stitch. Before I do my satin stitch, I'm going to make it quite a long back stitch. I'm just going to go up the stem and then along the leaves. And this is going to help you with the direction of your satin stitch. But it just means that you can use the printed fabric to get your lines in place before you do the satin stitch and cover all the lines up. So then I'll just use one stitch to do each of these lines. Go down one side. So now I've got 3 strands of the green. And I'm going to follow the direction and the outline of the leaf. And just add in my satin stitch. So we're just doing horizontal stitches and then going back to fill them in. But you could do the whole stem. I'm just going to show you this small bit. And again, just build it up until you're happy with how full it looks. So on the stems where we've got a bit of a thinner line, we're still going to use satin stitch, but we're going to angle it so that our stitches can be a bit longer. So I'm just going to still try and stay along the printed line, but go angle my stitches. So just tiny little angled stitches there, go back and fill them all in and do the same thing all of the little stems. Now we're going to use the same green to backstitch all the way up this right hand flower. So just a nice chunky backstitch all the way up. And we're going to contrast that green with the more avocado green to do the flowers. So we're just satin stitching these leaves, and I'm just going diagonally across, filling in the shape. It doesn't take much to do these. So I've got pink, 3 strands of the nice bright pink. At this point, you don't really need me to show you this. It is just the same technique that I've been using for the whole project. With shapes like petals, you will end up using the same hole at one end to take your thread down, because you're trying to get that fanned out kind of shape, so that is going to happen. So that needs a few more goes over with the thread, but you get the idea. And then exactly the same with the yellow centre. So I wanted to just show you my hoop hugger. Those of you that had the floral cheetah box will have some of these, but you can see that my extra fabric is getting a little bit in the way of my stitching. So these hoop huggers help to keep that fabric from getting in your way. So you can put multiple around your work and they just keep the fabric out of the way. So we are on to the butterfly. So this one is slightly different in that we are using 2 strands of thread to outline a lot of the areas of the butterfly and then filling that in with satin stitch. So I've got 2 strands of black so that we can get the detail of the butterfly. So these bottom bits, these top bits on the edge of the wings and the circular bits are all outlined in black. I'm just going to show you, we're going to do that in back stitch. And just literally follow the printed line. The smaller your stitches, the easier it will be to get the curves and keep to the intricacies of the print. So try and keep your stitches about 2 millimeters long. And this butterfly is going to take you a nice long time because it's very detailed and there's quite a lot of changing of threads. So now I've got some lovely thin backstitch lines in, outlined this section, and what we're going to start to do is fill in with satin stitch. So just the same as we've been doing, but we're doing it within a little border within these lines now. So leaving the backstitch lines to show, don't stitch over them, because it just adds to the colour and the kind of delicate nature of the butterfly wing. So the butterfly is just a slow and hopefully enjoyable process of outlining, then filling in, changing your thread colour, and starting to see your butterfly come to life. So just keep going, fill that in with the pink. This is orange, and then we've got the gold around the edge, but that's how we're stitching the butterfly. The antennae are 3 strands of the darker brown, so just do a back stitch there for those. So I'm just going to show you in reverse order how we back our hoop. So once you've finished, you need to trim your fabric. 2 to 3 centimetres is fine. And then you cut your wadding piece to the size of the cardboard disc, and that gets laid in the back. And then your fabric just folds over and you push your backing disc in. And you have a lovely finished piece that is ready to hang on your wall or gift to somebody. And it just, that wadding just gives it that lovely quilted kind of cushioned look, which I really love. So there you have it. Well done. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just let us know at hoopclub@cottonclara.com.